Today we're going to finally talk about the quadratic formula. Our quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. To figure out the a, b, and c for this, you have to have your quadratic equation in standard form. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Everything must be on the same side. Always write out your a, b, and c as well. That will help you figure out how to plug it into the formula. A, b, and c are the integers or the coefficients. They do not include the x's. Before we do that, we're going to talk about the plus or minus. We've talked about that slightly before, but we just want to review so that we remember. We actually have two problems in one when we have this plus or minus, and we're going to have to do the problem 2 times. So if we have 3 plus or minus 2 all being divided by 5, that means I've really got 3 plus 2 divided by 5 or 3 minus 2 divided by 5. So we're going to get 5 divided by 5, which is 1, and we're going to get 1/5. A lot of times with quadratics, we will get these two answers. For b, I have 1 plus or minus 5 divided by 7. That means I've got 1 plus 5 divided by 7, or 1 minus 5 divided by 7. So that's going to give me 6/7, or negative 4/7. For c, I've got 4 plus or minus the square root of 49 being divided by 2. Even before I split into my two problems, I always like to try and simplify that square root. So I know the square root of 49 is 7, so I can rewrite it as 4 plus or minus 7 over 2. And I'm going to split it into my two problems. So I'll have 4 plus 7 divided by 2, or 4 minus 7 divided by 2. That's going to give me 11/2, or negative 3/2. For d, we have 8 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 4. Square root of 0 is just 0. I know if I add 0, I'm not going to change it. And if I subtract 0, I'm not going to change it. So I really only have 8 divided by 4, which is 2. And for my last one here, negative 2 plus or minus square root of 8 all being divided by 4. So again, I'm going to simplify the square root. So the square root of 8 can be broken into square root of 4 times the square root of 2. So I'll have negative 2 plus or minus square root of 4 is 2, square root of 2 all over 4. And then I can simplify each of these. When I do that, I'll have negative 2 over 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 over 4. Negative 2 over 4 is negative 1/2. Plus or minus 2 divided by 4 is 1/2. So square root of 2 over 2. We can't actually add or subtract these because the square root of 2 is irrational. For the next few problems, we're going to find our a, b, and c and then plug it into our quadratic formula. For problem 1, not everything's on the same side, so that's our first step. We're going to subtract 28 from both sides. So we'll have x squared minus 12x minus 28 equals 0. I'm going to list my a, b, and c. So a is 1, b is negative 12, and c is negative 28. And I'm going to plug in. So I'm going to have negative 12 plus or minus square root b squared, so negative 12 squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Negative is positive. So that's going to be 144 plus 112, 256 over 2. The square root of 256 is 16, so we're going to get 12 plus or minus 16 divided by 2, which is really going to be 12 plus 16 divided by 2, or 12 minus 16 divided by 2. So that gives us 28 divided by 2, which is 14, or negative 4 divided by 2, which is negative 2. For problem 2, everything's already on one side. So our A is in front of x squared, 1, B is in front of x, 22, and C is the number by itself, 121. We are going to plug it into our formula. So negative 22 plus or minus square root 22 squared minus 4AC all over 2A. You get 22 plus or minus square root of 0 all over 2. Square root of 0 is just 0, so we're going to get negative 22 divided by 2, which is negative 11. So this one has one real solution. For 3, we're going to have 2x squared plus 4x minus 5 equals 0. Again, everything's already on one side, so we know our A is 2, our B is 4, and our C is negative 5. We'll plug it in, so negative 4 plus or minus square root 4 squared minus 4AC all over 2A. We'll have negative 4 plus or minus square root. See, that's 20, 40, 56 divided by 4. And for 56, that's going to be, that can get broken up into the square root of 4 and square root of 14. So we'll have negative 4 plus or minus 2 square roots of 14 divided by 4. And then we can divide each of those up. We'll have negative 4 divided by 4 plus or minus 2 square roots of 14 divided by 4. We'll have negative 1 plus or minus square root of 14 divided by 2. That's two real irrational solutions. For problem 4, everything's on one side, so we can find our A, B, and C. A is in front of x squared, 2. B is in front of x, 16. And C is by itself, 33. We're going to put it back into our formula. So negative 16 plus or minus square root 16 squared minus 4 times 2 times 33 all over 2 times 2. We're going to get negative 16 plus or minus square root negative 8 all over 4. Square root of negative 8 is going to be square root of negative 1, square root of 4, square root of 2. Negative 16 plus or minus 2i square root of 2 divided by 4. And then we can split each of those up. Negative 16 divided by 4 plus or minus 2i square root of 2 divided by 4. And that's going to become negative 4 plus or minus I square root of 2 all over 2. For 5, we have got x squared plus 16 equals 0. Everything's on one side, so that's awesome. Our A is in front of x squared, 1. Our B is going to be 0 because we don't have an x term. And our C is 16. We'll have negative 0 plus or minus square root 0 squared minus 4AC all over 2A. We're going to have plus or minus square root of negative 64 all over 2. That'll give us plus or minus 8i divided by 2, which is plus or minus 4i. So 2 complex solutions there. Our last problem, x squared equals 4x. We need to get everything on one side, so we're going to subtract 4x first from both sides. X squared minus 4x equals 0. A is going to be 1 because of x squared. B is negative 4 because it's in front of x, and C in this case is 0. So I have negative 4 plus or minus square root of negative 4 squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We'll have 4 plus or minus square root of 16 over 2, which is going to give us 4 plus or minus 4 divided by 2. From there, we'll have 4 plus 4 divided by 2, or 4 minus 4 divided by 2. So we'll get 8 over 2 equals 4, or 0 over 2, which equals 0. So we have 2 real rational solutions there.